25, 20, 15, 10, 5, Lindsey Scott, Lindsey Scott, Lindsey Scott.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Dogs Down South. Tuesday night. We are literally can smell the season right around the corner. Literally. It is May, which means we are 1 month closer to college football. But guess what? We get to hang out tonight on Dogs Down South, talk a little Georgia football. We're live on Facebook, YouTube. So make sure if you have not already done so, you go like, follow, share with your friends, tell them we're live. Go tell them we're live right now. I'm going to add some people to the mix tonight. Let's see where they're at. Here we are. Here we are. What's up, Fish? How are you, man?
What's up, man? What's going on?
Dude, I'm good, man. It's a night where we can sit around and talk Georgia football. So I'm fabulous. And then I got special guests tonight. My man Richman from the Marietta area up near, just a shot away from Athens. What's up, Richman? Welcome to the show, man.
Good stuff, man.
Dude, super excited to have you tonight to hang out with me and Fish. Bobby tonight had to take the night off. We'll write it down. We'll dock his pay, all those things. But Richman is going to come in and hang out, and we're going to have some fun tonight. First off, we are in May, man, and so that means we are literally less than 90 some odd days away from kicking the ball off in the regular season. Probably less than about 60 or so away from having some practices that actually I would call mean something. And so that's exciting as we draw closer. So we're going to do a couple things tonight. We're going to talk some news. We're going to put the portal to bed. We're going to put the spring practice to bed, G-Day to bed, get it out of here, talk about some news, but then we're going to move on to do something fun tonight. We're going to look at SEC power rankings post spring football games. So that'll be fun. We'll talk about it with the fellas and see what everybody thinks that ESPN, if they have it right or wrong after spring. But first off, Rich, man, welcome, man. Dude, Rich, man, we go way back, man. I tell everybody about mine and Fish's relationship because, Fish took me to my first Georgia game, him and his family. But Rich, man has been a dog fan since, I'm going to date you right here, bro. You've been a dog fan since I was in, diapers, man.
Dude, I was born in Athens.
There you go, right there. You probably got
Good answer. Good answer.
You probably got Georgia diapers, bro.
I did.
Oh yeah, got the Nike swoosh on them and everything.
There you go, man. There you go. Silver britches
with a Sharpie.
There you go.
With a Sharpie.
Yeah.
Oh man, so good. Fish, how have you been, man? We hadn't been. Fish wasn't here last couple times, and we didn't go live last week. But Fish, how's it going up there in the big city of Savannah?
Good, man. Getting hot. The sand gnats went away, so that's good. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty much the same.
What's your temperature today, man? Let's all see what we had.
Oh, I don't even know. I think it got up to about 84 today, 85.
Rich, man, what'd you have up there today? What'd you think it got to?
I don't know. I think it was about 70. It was nice. It was overcast.
Seriously?
Well, it came and went, but it was overcast most of the morning.
Guys, my car said 91 today here in Tampa, Florida.
Whew.
So we were sweating something vicious. So enjoy that last little bit of breeze because it's coming, bro. It's coming, and I wish I still had a little bit of that 70. Let's hop right in, man. Jaden Rashada, big news. Jaden Rashada. Last thing we had this on the last show where he talked about it was still iffy if he was going to sign. He hit the portal out of Arizona State. We all know Jaden Rashada because he was high school phenom, came out, signed an NIL deal with Florida last minute. Basically didn't get the first payment for his NIL deal. He jumped ship and he headed back out. A lot of controversy around that. But when he did see the field at Arizona State for a few games before he got injured, had a pretty good showing, was about 65, 70% in passing, really electric arm, tall, a quick kid. He had some versatility. What do you think, Fish, first off, man? What do you think about Jaden Rashada in this quarterback room, and what do you think that means for Georgia football?
I mean, he can only help it out, I think. He actually comes in having the second most starting experience out of anybody in the room because nobody else has started. Gunner and Puglisi. So, I don't know. I'm excited about him. I mean, he'll definitely get a shot. He'll definitely get some reps in practice. And we'll see what happens or how it went next portal season.
Yeah, I have mixed emotions about Jaden. I'll see what Richman. What do you think about Jaden Rashada?
I think it's good. I mean, look, football is an oblong ball, and it takes a funny bounce. So if Beck goes down, then we got Gunner. If the fickle football gods throw a hex on Gunner, we're going to take Puglisi and throw him out there?
Yeah.
I mean, we need to load the stable up.
I agree. I think that we were talking before we all came on, and I said the biggest thing I think Kirby wants is to keep that quarterback room competitive. I think he wants to keep it competitive. I think he wants iron sharpening iron. I think he kind of felt this past year and a half, with the exit of
Vandergriff.
Yeah, thank you for that. The exit of Vandergriff, now you look at Gunner, he has to become a big boy really quick. I think I agree with you, Fish. I think he adds some quick game time snaps that, even though it's a couple more than Gunner's got, right? And then Puglisi, right. I mean, Puglisi looks good on a high school field, but that's all we know about it. We didn't even see him during the spring.
And he's hurt. How bad is he hurt?
He had a knee injury from it was kind of an ailing knee injury he had from high school. I think they did some things to scoped it, and then they just kind of wanted to keep him out and see if they could make the best of it. I think there could possibly be some changes with what this looks like. We could hear the news any day that maybe they choose to go forward, or maybe they feel good about it, but maybe they get him into spring drills and see how he does. I mean, fall drills and see how he does. Even if they choose to part ways and get him under the knife, like at least now you have still 3 quarterbacks in the room, right?
Yep.
And we don't have, I don't even know if we have any of those walk-ons. You look at Jackson Muschamp, who made his debut in the Orange Bowl, and Daddy Muschamp got to see him. I don't even know if we have any of those walk-ons, even available. I'm not very sure, but it definitely helps. But I agree with you, Rich, man. Puglisi is in a spot right now where he hasn't really had any time, and he came in with a little bummed up. And I think Rashada, as far as what we've seen of him, I think he's going to add some competition. I think they probably. I always tell this to you guys. I mean, you can't come to Georgia with problems, man. And if they are problems, they get nixed really quick. I mean, I would much rather sit in front of an interrogation by a CIA agent probably than Kirby, as far as the DNA of what you're going to see at Georgia. He probably looked him dead in his eye and was like, all right, here's what we do, bro. It either fits or it doesn't. If it doesn't, then this is going to be a short trip for you. I kind of feel like that's how it goes. Other portal news, big names. I don't know if you guys remember this name, Peyton Woodyard, man. Was a guy we were recruiting really heavy in the safety area last year. Ended up signing with Alabama, was there for spring, and kind of abruptly just hit the portal. But I heard it was possibly some discipline issues going on with Kalen DeBoer and his crew. Do you guys remember Peyton Woodyard from last year? 5-star guy.
Not much about him, but that name is definitely familiar.
5-star, I think.
Yeah, 5-star guy out of the Atlanta area up there near you, Rich, man. Really, really good physical kid. I was shocked when he changed his mind. I knew it had to be. I was almost certain it was money at the end because of the way it all came down. Because
that's usually what it is nowadays.
Yeah, I was certain it was money. So I was kind of shocked to see, but I'm thinking more that I look into that. I'm thinking that was some disciplinary things that were going on because it kind of came out of nowhere. And at least guys, most of the time, if you're a freshman, they kind of fill it out for a solid year because you really don't have anything on tape to show any other coaches other than your high school tapes anyway. Right. So you kind of fill it out for the year. Other name you guys might remember, Zachary Franklin, man, Ole Miss. Zachary Franklin was a really good player for Ole Miss last year. A lot of people said he might be a little bit on the ropes with the Lane Kiffin stuff going on. You know, Lane Kiffin had the field day for spring. I don't know if you guys heard that.
Saw that.
Chime in. What do you guys think about Lane, man? I mean, this guy, you know,
Love him.
on one hand, you look at Lane. I'm gonna let you guys both answer this, but one hand, you look at Lane and he's like, he hates this portal thing. But then on the flip side, he's the portal king. Like, talk to me about that, Fish. What do you think about Lane, man? Like, is this Lane's year?
You don't have to love it to be good at it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I love me some Lane Kiffin. I do. Like, he's a character. He's good for college football. Good for the SEC, I think. I like it.
I like
Fish, man?
the controversy. I like Lane, but I think this year, you know, he's gotten a pass,
Mhm.
you know, for years. You know, can't get the talent, can't do this. But that team this year, I mean, they got talent coming in from the portal like crazy. So
Yeah.
so this year he might put himself in a position where he hurts some of the alumni's feelings if he don't put up some big numbers this year.
Yeah.
Because remember last year he was telling them they needed to put up some money if they wanted to be like Georgia.
He
I
got it.
agree. He
So
got it, man. He might
He
have.
got it.
He got it, but I'm gonna tell you what he got with it. He got some pressure this year. He come the past few years is, you know, at
he
Ole
was in the
Miss.
catbird seat.
Yeah, like he hadn't been in a win now situation. So
Right.
it's like he's the best thing running around Ole Miss. You know, he used a little bit of the leverage of the Alabama college, the position opening there to go, hey guys, you know, I don't know what happened. You know, you slide that note in the middle of class and you go, hey, tell you what, you give me some NIL money, then I'll stay. And then next thing you know, man, I don't know about you guys, but did you see what started happening in the portal and started happening with people wanting to come to Ole Miss after he turned down the Alabama job?
I mean, he got that nose tackle from A&M, right? Nolan.
Yeah, yep.
And I'm
Walter
worried
Nolan.
about that dude. I mean, I think he's a legit in the middle guy.
Yeah,
And I think he's like he's going to be a first round pick.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What do you think, man?
bad.
You think Lane's like? You think this is like now? Has he created himself a hot seat, Fish?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, not the stage is set this year for him to finally get into the playoff. I've got them going to the playoff because it's 12 team. I mean, like it couldn't be a more perfect, you know, opportunity for him this year to finally get in the playoff. Even if they don't win, but if they win their first round game, you know, hey, they made the playoff. That's improvement. Then, you know, next year his seat might get a little hotter because he's going to have to replicate, you know, the same results or improve on them, probably improve on them with all the money they're investing into the program. So,
right.
Yeah, I think that's a fair thing to say.
He heated his own seat up, man. Like I mean, he's got the team, he's got the players this year to go out. I mean, even with losing
This is the team that can make a run.
Yeah.
They get really hot. It's kind of worrisome.
Yeah.
No, we
Yeah,
have
totally
to go to
agree.
Oxford this year too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to go to Oxford, and I would say their schedule is not as tough as Georgia's, but I would say we're going to look at these in a minute. But I would say that everybody in the SEC has a little bit of there's a couple of teams that are gimmies. I would say if I had, you know, we'll save it for later, but I would say there's some teams in there that, I mean, Texas definitely had some gimmies in that schedule. But what do you guys, before we move on,
that
also
schedule came in their gift basket when welcome to the SEC. Here you go.
Dude, yeah. Like 2
years they get that same schedule.
It. We wrapped it, we delivered it, man. I don't know, man. Like,
here you go.
We put it on a red carpet. Like, I don't know, man. It was wild. As
Money,
Bobby
money,
would
money.
say, man, Texas money talks, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, exactly what I was just saying. Money, money, money.
Yeah, definitely. What about, and last but not least, portal? You know, I think these are stories of the portal, but man, Colorado, man, and Deion Sanders. I'm gonna step outside the SEC a little bit, but I want to ask you guys, like, is this worrisome for Colorado? Like, is this? A lot of people are saying that this is all about trying to build the best team that Deion can for Shador and Travis, which is kind of like he's brought on as his like second type son at Colorado. But a lot of stuff has changed. A lot of stuff has changed at Colorado within 90 days. Richman, you first. Like, what do you think about Colorado and Deion?
That one kid came in and then he left and he said, "This is all about clicks," and he didn't want to be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that?
I did.
Yep.
I did.
That's interesting. It makes you wonder, like, what's really going on behind the scenes out there. I mean, it's different. It's Deion, so it's a little different. But
yeah.
And then they did bring in. I mean, they brought in some talent. They brought in
they did
some linemen. Was it from Ohio or?
Yeah, they got some linemen in the portal. They got a big kid who signed as 5-star tackle out of somewhere down in the southeast,
Texas, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, they definitely had some signing stuff, and a lot of those players are just saying, that these guys just don't want to compete, and we've seen it at Georgia. We've seen it at multiple schools in the SEC that. With this portal thing now, it creates an avenue where people don't have to compete anymore. They're handed
endemic with the whole NCAA, but
right. So they're handed
culture like Kirby has,
right. So they're handed this stuff. But my thing with Colorado is like a lot of people are saying that after Shedeur is gone, then this creates an avenue to where Deion's heading elsewhere. But I will tell you, man, it's very scary. I don't think Deion. I like Deion. We talked about Colorado, and me and Fish and Bobby talked about Colorado a little bit last year, and I like Deion, but I'd love to be a fly on the wall for a few practices because there's some things that just there's some things that just are I get it. It's part of football, but there are some things that I would say that Richman, you mentioned, it's like this cliquish. It's like, I mean, you see him down there, man. I mean, we're tripping about Carson Beck driving a Lamborghini, but dude, I mean, there are some flashy cars in Boulder.
Like last year, I forgot what game it was, and they got thrashed, and they had all those celebrities there, and I'm like, I don't know, that just kind of, I didn't sit well with me.
Yeah,
football's still supposed to be a blue collar, tough guy kind of thing.
Yeah,
even though Deion wore a mink coat, he was at FSU.
What do you think? I don't even know what their schedule looks like, man. But what do you think? Like, Fish, you first. You think Colorado is successful this year? Remember, these guys are moving into the Big 12. Right? Yeah, Big 12.
Yeah. So, they're definitely going to improve on last year. He addressed some of the needs in the portal. He hit the line because the offensive line. I'm telling you, better offensive line. They win at least 3 or 4 more games last year.
Yeah.
Shedeur. I think Shedeur is a good quarterback.
A lot of people have Shedeur going early.
I think he's really good. He's got a good arm. He's accurate. He can run, but he's not the most mobile. You know what I mean? I mean, you would think he would be.
He was running for his life in a bunch of games.
He had to. I know, and he was hurt, beat up by the third or fourth quarter. Because he's been sacked 5 or 6 times, or at least hit, knocked down 8 or 9 times. I mean, it was crazy. But I think they definitely improve, and they could possibly win the Big 12.
Yeah.
I mean, who's going to beat them?
Arizona. That would be classic. I would love that.
Can you imagine those huddles, man? When Shedeur's in those huddles, like, what play are we calling? Does it matter? Can you just block?
He's probably got his watch on and playing music in the huddle.
Yeah, he's like,
run for your life. Run for your life. Run for your life.
Can you guys just block? I mean, I will tell you the play, but first, can y'all just block? Like,
just give me 3 or 4 seconds, man.
Yeah, dude. Oh my gosh, man. Poor guy.
Because when he had time, he was great. When he had time to throw the ball, man, it was great.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. Well, let's do this. Let's transition, man. Let's hop into the SEC. Gonna do something fun tonight. We're gonna talk about power rankings coming out of spring football and kind of give a preview for all the listeners. I see a couple people hopped in. Patrick, what's up, man? Saw you. Says Texas ain't hitting on nothing Kirby has. I agree, man. Texas is coming in a little bit different culture. This is the SEC, but Texas seems to be talking a lot of noise, like they're ready for the SEC. They feel like, and we're going to talk about it in a minute, but Texas feels like they're prepared for the SEC. They feel they're well prepared. So make sure you go drop a like, follow Patrick, share on your page, man. Thanks for popping in. What were you going to say, Fish?
I mean, why wouldn't they? They came into Alabama, the heart of the SEC, for the past, 15 years, and just put a beating on Alabama. Nick Saban's farewell tour.
Yeah, they could have deflated them footballs, man. They could have done something. It could have been Deflategate.
Oh my God! Did y'all see the Tom Brady roast? I'm sorry, but has either one of you seen any of that?
Dude, I tried, man. About 17 cuss words in, I was done.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's not. Yeah. It's bad. But
Yeah.
Oh my God, some of the jokes were hilarious.
Yeah. Oh my God, man. So let's hop straight in, man. Power rankings. This is ESPN's power rankings coming in off of spring football. So let's hop right in. ESPN has coming in at 16. Let's see if you guys agree with this one or not. The Vanderbilt Commodores got them at a solid over under 2.5 wins. I don't know where these wins are coming from. Let me pull this up real quick. First off, I think it's pretty easy. I'll go to you, Fish, first. Like, do you agree? You have Vanderbilt here, or you have them higher?
I wish I could have them higher, because Vandy's just one of those teams you just feel sorry for and you want to see them succeed because they get beat up so much. They're they on the verge of people want them kicked out of the conference to make room for better teams. And, I don't know. I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Vanderbilt. I don't know why. Just have.
Not in
Yeah,
other sports
I think
besides
2.5
football,
is
man.
accurate.
Not in other sports besides football, though, bro. I would love to see them
They
getting
do.
smacked this weekend in baseball. Did you see that?
Dude,
we swept.
No, I know it. We swept them.
That's crazy, bro.
Heck
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Georgia's not bad, dude.
That's a whole other podcast,
bad.
bro. How do we go from zero to now hero in baseball? Like, we look, I mean, Charlie Condon, man, is incredible. He's one guy that's doing it, but
like a robot.
Yeah, dude.
know, right?
We just look like a different
robot with
team.
a stick in his hand.
Yeah,
Yep.
dude.
Smack.
You see that picture where he had the lightsaber in his hand on May the 4th, man, where they had him swinging?
Oh yeah, I love that picture. Yeah,
That's a cool
that was
picture,
nice.
man. Rich man, where you got Vandy, man? You got him above.
Yeah, I got
16?
Vandy at 1.5. They think Vandy's going to beat Georgia State.
Dude. Okay,
I don't know,
Look,
man.
they can't even get their stadium ready to play.
I know it, golly, man. But
Man.
that was a big topic for us last year, dude. We made so much fun of them.
Apparently, it's not going to be ready this season either.
It's not, bro.
It's not. It's not.
Let's just move on because Vandy's not really worth
the one thing I will say about Vandy is I agree with you, Rich, man, because I'm looking. Virginia Tech's not a win. Alcorn, maybe that's one of them. Georgia State, I don't know, man. Del McGee's there. That changes everything. Missouri's not a win. Alabama's not a win. Kentucky's not a win. Ball State, maybe it's their second. Texas is not. Auburn's not. South Carolina's not. LSU, no Tennessee. You're right. I think it's 1.5, maybe 2. I think ESPN's giving them a lot right there. I agree. Let's move on. 15. ESPN has the Mississippi State fake Bulldogs at 15. 4.5 wins. Man, I like Jeff Lebby, man. Like I want him to succeed. He reminds me of my Hugh Freeze thing from last year. Like, and dude, their spring game, dude, they put up a ton of points. I don't know if it was because the offense was that good or the defense was that bad. Probably the second thing. But where you got Richmond? Where you got Mississippi State? You got them here? You got them higher? You like them here?
I think that's 4.5's good. I mean, he's rebuilding everything.
Yeah,
because he's putting the air raid back in, and and he doesn't have the personnel for it. So, and I like Mississippi State. I love that air raid. It's fun to watch.
It is.
But they're going to be in tough times till they get the right guys in there to run that thing.
Yeah, I agree. We can look at their schedule in a second. Fish, you got them higher, lower?
Nope. I think they're right where they need to be.
Yeah.
So, I think them and Arkansas is a toss up for 14-15.
Arkansas.
Sorry, Grant. My bad, Grant. Sorry if you're watching, Grant.
Arkansas, Jesus Lord. Eastern Kentucky, Arizona State, Toledo, Florida. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. If they don't win, UMass is November 2nd. So here's my thing: their 4.5 has got to be Eastern Kentucky, Toledo. UMass is 3. I think there's some toss-ups, man, and we're gonna get into Florida, but but
Look,
they're not going to beat Florida.
by mid-season, if I wouldn't be surprised if they swap coaches and Petrino's a head coach.
Somebody Arkansas?
Yeah.
We went, yeah.
Not
Pittman goes
again.
to
Oh my
OC.
God.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That definitely is possible, and I can see where Arkansas would be on board with that. But man, there are some. I would love to have Grant Adams in here right now to hear about Arkansas, but
Petrino would be the next head coach there, don't you think?
I think that is a great possibility. I think that was part of the play.
If Pittman doesn't hit 7 or 8 wins this year, probably.
Yeah, that's true. And then ESPN has them at 14. I mean, you know, what you have to watch on offense at Arkansas is you got Petrino returning to Fayetteville. This offense is in need of just incredible repair. His first priority is, you know, solving the quarterback position. I think it's solved. The kid from Boise State is going to be the starter. Offensive line, still a major concern. I mean, they allowed 47 sacks last year. So, and here's my thing with that. It's like Sam Pittman's an offensive line guy, right? So, Pittman comes in and, you know, he came on Feinbaum the other day, man. And, you know, man, he goes, so what do you think about this year, Sam? He's like, oh, well, I like my team. Dude, he liked his team last year. And they got killed.
It's been disappointing.
That means he's scared.
Yeah.
That means he's scared.
It's been disappointing watching him because you would have thought that they would be competitive because he would have brought the Hogs and they would have had offensive lines that would have kept them in games year in and year out. And it just hasn't panned out like that.
Yeah, I agree. The trenches to me are a concern because that's his
thing.
That's his thing, man. Like, I felt like that at least Arkansas should have been able to run the football. But KJ Jefferson, man, that kid was on his back more than Shedeur Sanders, and that's saying a lot, dude.
I was going to say, yeah, I wanted to know that sack total for Colorado versus Arkansas. I don't have the numbers right now, but it's got to be close.
Maybe Arkansas by 1, maybe. Probably. I don't know. But when you look at, I mean, I will say this. I think Petrino was a good hire. I think I agree with both of you guys. Richman, I think you mentioned it. Does Petrino look like a guy that if it's not going well mid-year, this is the way to go? Arkansas is ready to be good. I mean, they go out and they make a splash higher in basketball. They get Calipari from Kentucky, and they've always been really good in baseball. I mean, This is it, man. This is the cornerstone of the sports world in Arkansas. They got to get this right. So it's either they let Sam go out, they let him take the whole shebang and change it around and get Petrino, and probably gave Petrino you know, a new motorcycle from the last time he wrecked his other one, plus a lot of bonuses.
Man, come on.
Bonuses? You mean go-eds?
Go-eds and motorcycles.
No.
And
oh my God, the motorcycle.
So Arkansas, 5.5.
If he does get hired, you're going to see those pictures of him in his neck brace with his black eye and everything.
What do you mean, bro? There's already, and game day's not coming anywhere near there. Maybe SEC Network, but you know there's already, they're in the waiting, man. Somebody's Googling these pictures up already, bro. Where are these wins coming from? Let's look at Arkansas real quick. So University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Okay, I guess that's the one win. Oklahoma State in Stillwater. I don't think that's happening. By the way, I mentioned this to you guys, but ESPN has this all as neutral field games if they were to meet on a neutral field. So I think Oklahoma State's a loss. UAB's a win. I guess that's where their second one's at. Mississippi State's, I don't know. I mean, they're right there, neck and neck, right there.
Yeah.
Louisiana Tech's win. I see 3.5. I guess they're assuming that they're going to beat either Oklahoma State or Texas A&M. I don't see that. I like Texas A&M this year. I really do.
Tough road to hoe.
Yeah, I think if I can, I'm gonna sum it up and I'm gonna tell it to Fish. I'm not gonna make my final prediction until beginning of the year, but I think Pittman is my he's my hot seat guy. He's my number one hot seat guy this year. Sam Pittman is, and I feel for the guy because I like him, and I would say that he was crushing. I used to love seeing him when we would sign a massive 5-star offensive lineman, and he would be sitting there going, "Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right."
but he left, and he's not with us anymore. So that's where we're at. 13, man. ESPN has the South Carolina Gamecocks. Fish, where you got South Carolina? You got them here? You got them higher? What you like about South Carolina?
I'd put them lower if it wasn't for Mississippi State and Arkansas.
Yeah.
I am not a Shane Beamer fan anymore. He's a clown.
He is.
Get him out of here. He's a clown.
His stick has gotten old.
Yeah. Not a fan.
I mean, that
Not
defense.
Yeah, defense. What do you got them, Richmond?
We got their best defensive lineman.
They gave it 21 plays for 30 yards or more last year.
Nice.
I mean, their secondary, they got some work to do.
Who were they second behind Ole Miss?
Xavier McLeod.
That had to be second behind Ole Miss, though, because I feel like Ole Miss gave up 20 of them. They only beat them by 1 because, dear Lord, man, between Ole Miss, Arkansas, and this South Carolina defense, I saw more offensive firepower going overheads and through zone coverage than I've ever seen in the SEC in my life. It is definitely something. And then there's Tennessee in there too, man, because their secondary was brutal last year. So I'm hoping for the SEC, just known as, I mean, we were just talking about before it came on, as known, SEC is known to see NFL type speed and secondary corners, safeties. We might need to do some work this year on that because.
With that being said, I think Texas and Oklahoma playing a schedule like ours, I think they're going to be a little surprised week in and week out, having that speed and also the power in the trenches. I think that's where they're going to see the difference. They might not own up to it because they're real mouthy bunch.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, week in and week out, the SEC just grinds you up.
Yeah. No, I agree. I have, just so you know too, I have all these. The cellar is a little more tougher than the top to me at this SEC. I do think that Arkansas will be improved this year. Obviously, they don't have much to improve on from last year. I mean, Petrino alone being there, and I've heard good things about this kid from Boise State. He's a really solid guy. But then again, you look at KJ Jefferson, and people were screaming Heisman candidacy, and I'm like, what? No, I never believed that, but they were screaming it. And so, but it was harder to look at the bottom, in my opinion, because the next team I have on here is Kentucky. Now, a lot of people, this is tough because ESPN has Kentucky lower than Florida. But if you look, they have Kentucky. This is the weird thing. ESPN has Kentucky at 6.5 wins, but they have Florida at 11 with 5.5. I don't know how that works out, but
yeah, I was looking at that. I was like, typo maybe, copy and paste. I didn't know.
No, I looked back at it, and maybe they're thinking because it means nothing as far as playoff are considered. I think they're saying, does Kentucky beat South Carolina? I'm sorry, does Kentucky beat Florida in a neutral site? And I would say with the defense that Kentucky has coming back, I like the defensive line. I like the secondary for Kentucky. I like Vandergriff. I like a lot of things about Kentucky this year. Do I think they're a top tier SEC team again? No. But Florida has a tough schedule, and I think Kentucky would beat Florida on a neutral schedule. A lot more grittiness at the quarterback position for Kentucky this year than in previous years.
Kentucky's going to be that team that could take off and surprise a lot of teams. I mean, I think they're going to upset a couple of teams.
I think so too. I agree.
I mean, obviously, I love Vandergriff. To me, he looked like a Sasquatch playing quarterback.
Right.
And I just really wanted to see him wear red and black, but I'm excited to see him play at Kentucky. I mean, I hope he's as good as I think he's going to be.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. I think the biggest thing with Kentucky is what we just talked about with the last two teams. It's, their secondary was 123rd in defensive success rate against the pass. That's crazy to see all these SEC teams do so poorly in the secondary. It makes you thankful for, even though Georgia's young this year in the secondary, it makes you thankful that we have really great blue chip collar guys back there. And we obviously knew we were going to be young because with our coaching hires, we put a lot into the secondary this year with those two hires. Fish, what do you think about Kentucky? You got them higher or lower? You got Florida above them or below them?
Below them. I think we just don't know anything about Vandergriff yet. We don't know what he's going to We don't know how he's going to look, in an actual game, situation, because he only saw the field, in mop-up duty. He never got any actual, real, meaningful playing time.
Right.
He's either going to shine or he's going to be, middle of the road. So, I mean, we just don't know. And I think that hinges a lot on that, too. But I think he's going to be great because I always liked him at Georgia. I think he's going to be good. So I definitely have them over Florida.
Yeah. A lot's going to depend on this Bush. His name is Butch Hamden. Liam Cohen bolted to the NFL to be the offensive coordinator for the Bucks, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, along with our friend Brian McClendon from Georgia, going to be the wide receiver coach there. Already made a great move. He moved Chris Godwin to the slot, which is already a one-up for me. Anyways, but Liam Cohen was him and what's my boy from Kentucky, man? He's been there so long. Stoops. Him and Stoops, man, they butted heads from day one. Because Stoops is like Kirby, but he doesn't have the backbone Kirby has. I think Stoops was sick and tired of seeing the defense on the field so much, and he wanted a little bit more balance out of the offense. Ray Davis had in my opinion, Ray Davis had a mediocre year for a really talented player last year. And so, when you look at the new OC hire, I think that's going to be where Vandergriff goes. Is like, I think Vandergriff's coming from an offense where we put the ball in the hands of the playmakers. And so is he going to be forced to make things happen? Is he going to be forced to be the only guy making things happen? And if he's put in that situation, I got a feeling that
it's going to be tough.
That's where it's going to be the make or break for Kentucky this year. So moving along, I got Florida at 11. Man, I would tell you that everybody is super excited about Florida, but because they see them as being a much better team this year. They see better team chemistry. They seem, Billy Napier, he's finally getting things going. And I've heard good things. I've heard Billy Napier is an incredible guy, incredible developer of men. But at the end of the day, they pay you to win college football games. So I'll go to you first on this one, Rich, man. What do you think about Florida? You like them there? What do you like or dislike about Florida?
I think they're going to struggle, and I think if they don't have a better season, I think Napier's going to be on the real hot seat.
Yeah.
I mean, they might if it doesn't go their way, they might send him on the highway before the season's over.
Right. What about?
I like him too, but I've also heard some stuff, and I think it was Entine had said that he had made some remarks about the clubhouse, that the players, it wasn't the camaraderie with the players was not the same at Florida, anything like it was at Georgia.
Right.
And he just, they just gel. They create that family atmosphere. And I don't know, I don't know what their clubhouse is like, but when he said that, I thought, it made me wonder what's going on inside.
Yeah, it's hard, man, because that was what was hard for me. I talked to a extremely loyal Florida fan, but really good guy. I would call him the better of the Florida fans. He'll tell the truth, but he said it. He said, what's that?
No jorts. Does he wear jorts?
Maybe not.
They're in the trunk.
I played the fifth. Yeah, I played the fifth. So, he said, the one thing he said was, he was like, listen, Billy Napier is an incredible guy. Players like him. He's a likable guy. He's doing a lot to develop young men. He's a great person to be doing that. But, they didn't hire a football chaplain. They didn't hire a counselor for the team. They hired a head football coach. And the University of Florida they're paying him well above what that person would make on a college campus. And so they expect wins out of him as a head football coach. So it's hard, right?
Well, that sounds like if they don't exceed their what they did last year, he's going to be on the real hot seat by the end of the season.
Yeah.
Him and Shane Beamer both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, let's look at Florida real quick. So I think we can look at this entire schedule, but I think what paints the writing on the wall is this: the first game on the schedule has been getting harder and harder in the last 2 months. Miami is just bolstering their lineup. Cam Ward is looking incredible, I heard. They're getting rid of some excess baggage here or there. They've signed some guys on defense. They've hit the portal very hard. This is another guy that you don't know whether to take him for real or not with Cristobal. Like, I feel like Cristobal took a few years to get Oregon off and running per se. But, you look at that first game of the year, and is Florida going to be looking backwards the entire year if they drop that first game to Miami? That's a pivotal game right there out of the box.
It could be 2-2 by the fourth game of the season.
And that's what I'm thinking. But it could be 1-3 because I don't guarantee you that Mississippi State. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I'm telling you that Mississippi State is going to be able to put points up. And that's what my struggle is that you're gonna, and I know it's neutral site. But they got Miami and Gainesville, guys. They got Sanford and Gainesville. They got Texas A&M and Gainesville. Guess where they go to for their first away game? Starkville, Cowbell Central.
Yeah.
That's their first road game. So if you don't beat Miami, you got your gimme against Sanford, and I don't think they're going to beat Texas A&M. I just don't. I really like Texas.
I don't think they're beating Miami.
They're 1-2 going in there, and that Mississippi State game's huge. And then that's when their gauntlet starts. That's when you have some controversial losses and wins. You got Central Florida, and if you're telling me that Gus Bus ain't ready to go into Gainesville and beat UF, they are going to be
12 versus SEC now.
That's excitement, man. That's college football right there. And Gus Malzahn is like, if I want the Florida gig, I beat Florida right now, because he's in that state. And I don't even know if I just made the call right there. I mean, is Gus Bus the next Florida coach if he beats him? Who knows, man?
Let's see how much success he has this year in the Big 12. He might be.
Yeah, because you're recruiting the same guys. But it gets weird. Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State. I don't see another win. Like, I don't see another win for Florida and all that. So, I mean, I think they're graciously giving them 5.5. And that's telling them they're going to beat Sanford. They're going to beat Mississippi State. They're assuming that they're going to beat, I guess, UCF and Texas A&M. And they're giving them one more, maybe Kentucky. I don't know where the half's coming from. I think it's a stretch for the 4. But I definitely will tell you that if I'm a betting man, and I'm not, I'm taking the under hard on Florida this year. With those wins, I got ESPN's got Auburn at 10. This is a tricky one, guys. Auburn at 10. I know my man Richman will want to talk a lot about. Be careful. This is weird. So Fish's wife is a hardcore Auburn fan. Richman is going to dog my brother for being an Auburn fan. So this is going to be interesting. So this is probably more against my brother than it is Auburn. But dude, I was on the Hugh Freeze bandwagon last year. I like Auburn. Auburn did some things last year I thought that were good. I think the 2-quarterback stupid system with Robbie Ashford was probably what shot them in the foot for half of their losses. But Richman, talk to me about good old faithful Auburn.
Dude, I don't even know that much about Auburn this year. I've been enjoying the run. It's been beautiful. I mean, he's building. So I think, I don't know, 7. If they win 7 games, I think that's good for Auburn.
I agree. This bowl.
I think that's good.
And a bowl game for Auburn.
And I think, I think he's going to bring Auburn back. I mean, I can see Auburn in 2 or 3 years being very competitive and pounding Alabama for a while.
Mm-hmm.
When they get them down, they're going to stay on them for a while because, they're due.
Yeah.
At least they think they are.
I like Hugh Freeze, man. Like I don't know what it was last year, man. I was like, this was the right hire. And then he went and did this bonehead 2-quarterback system thing. Now this year will tell the tape because Peyton Thorne's team. So that will tell the tape. But before we get into that, Fish, where do you like Auburn? You like Auburn at 7.5? You like them here? You like them higher, lower?
I think that's good. I think 7 or 8, 7.5. I think
Where are they
that's
getting
good.
it?
I'm not.
Where are they getting
I
it
don't have a
from?
lot of confidence in Peyton Thorne. I just don't. I don't know. But we'll have to see how he does, how much he improves this year.
It's a work in progress to see what he does.
Yeah.
I will tell you
Gonna have to
this.
see how he does this year.
The thing that I'm concerned about is if Auburn doesn't get some wins this year, remember this SEC schedule flips next year. The only thing that changes is home and away. And Auburn has 8, count them, 8 home games this year.
Woo!
8. That's what jumps out to me. So they got Alabama A&M at home. That's a win. California at home. I think they're assuming that's a win. New Mexico at home. You don't go on the road until October 19th.
Dang.
I mean, and I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like Kentucky is might need a win by then, but I think that has a lot to do with the 7.5 wins.
I think that's gonna be a good game.
Yeah. So Kentucky.
I think so too.
Yeah. So I don't really know, man. I'm so sorry. My apologies. It's Missouri. I looked the wrong thing. It's Missouri. They get Missouri as their first away game. So
that's gonna hurt.
That'll hurt. They get Kentucky the next week.
And I'll take Kentucky and Mizzou.
Yeah, correct. I mean, and I think this is doable. Alabama A&M's a win. Cal's a win. New Mexico's a win. Arkansas, I think, should be a win. Oklahoma will be their first serious test coming to Auburn.
Auburn, I wouldn't put it past them to like step up and beat Oklahoma. That would be an Auburn-esque thing.
Yeah,
it would.
I mean,
very much
dude,
so.
They get their dream schedule for the first. I mean, guys, they could be going into Missouri. In Missouri, they get a bye. They get 5 home games and a bye. I mean, if you were gonna
you think Auburn could get hot?
I think Auburn could.
I mean, I think there's going to be a team, Kentucky, Auburn, Mizzou. Somebody's going to get hot.
Yeah,
and they're going to upset somebody.
It's going to be it's all based off of Peyton Thorne and how he adjusts to taking this offense on. Is he looking over his back? Is he going to be in full stride? A lot of people said. I mean, they played Georgia in Jordan here, very, very tough, man. Defense looked good. The 2-quarterback system was working. Was Georgia
they would
flat?
Play Georgia good if they had to dress out the water boys.
I agree, but I was there, and that they looked good.
Also,
they looked good that day. And I will tell you, if Peyton Thorne would have seen the ball more, and Robbie Ashford would have been drinking water all game, it would have been a little bit tougher of a game. Absolutely senile play calling to have that guy anywhere near the field, and he didn't win the job at South Carolina as we know it right now. So it's very obvious that the guy needs a position change. And I feel for him because I get what they're trying to do, but I would just tell you that Auburn's a team to look for because they get 7 games. They get 7 weeks of home games and byes before they play Oklahoma and Kentucky, and then they get Vandy. So, guys, they could, if they win one of those, they're not beating Georgia. I'm sorry. So they got to go to Georgia in one of those. So if they can come out of there with 2 losses, guys, they're sitting at 6-2. Who knows? 7.5 is, I think, definitely doable. But are they a 9 winner somewhere in there? And they get Alabama.
They could be our hot team this year. I don't know.
Yeah, they get Alabama at the end of the year. I think it's interesting. I think it's very interesting. 9, Texas A&M. Fish, you like Texas A&M? Texas A&M here or not? What do you like about Texas A&M?
Yeah, I like them there. I don't know. Again, this is one of those things where they got Oklahoma at 7.5, and they got A&M at 8.5, and then they're flip flop. You know, one's 8, one's 9. I don't like that. I think A&M over Oklahoma. I don't think Brent Venables is going to cut it as a head coach. I don't think he's kind of like Muschamp to me. Way better coordinator than a head coach.
On a neutral side. I think that's
way better.
Site. Let's see here. Oklahoma neutral site. Where is it though? I want to know where it's at. Who did you say? Oklahoma and
A&M.
Auburn? A&M?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's they
You
don't
think
play.
Elko's going to put up 8 or 9 wins his first season?
I do. I
You do?
think Texas A&M is my
They
sleeper
got a lot
team.
of talent. I mean, we know that.
If Elko can do
They
what he
do.
did at Duke, then you give him some money. I honestly, it's just because I don't like Jimbo Fisher, man. I want to see him do well.
But with that logic, you got to say that Alabama's going to stay on top.
Alabama's not going to stay on top. Alabama's not going to stay on top because I think Alabama's going to lose 3 games this year, and I'll tell you who they're going to be. But what? So Fish, what do you think about 8.5 wins though? I mean, and then we'll turn it to Richmond. But what do you think as far as 8.5 wins? Like, where are they at? So I look at Texas A&M, and we got Notre Dame out of the box in College Station. But then it gets a little weird. McNeese State, Florida, Bowling Green, Arkansas. So those are doable. You got Mississippi State in there, South Carolina, New Mexico State.
They could win
Auburn.
9 games, but it's the Elko question in my book. I just don't know.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
Coach,
Again,
if
you don't know
this was
what's
the
going to
second
happen.
year
You don't
and
know how
he
it's
had a
gonna
good
look.
season last year, I'd say 9 easy, and maybe knock off somebody and be a 10-win season. But
I think it's Florida
an
all over
unknown.
again. I think it's Florida all over again. If they win the first one, they beat Notre Dame. Look out! Look out! They're going to have a lot of wind to their sails. And I think
if they beat Notre Dame, and I don't know what Notre Dame is. Are they supposed to be good this year?
I think they'll be ranked in the top 10 when they come out.
They're
ranked right now in the top 10. But that's it for Notre Dame. Notre Dame beats Texas A&M. They're in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Dude,
Kyle Field is going to be a madhouse, dude. That atmosphere is going to be nuts. I don't know, man. That's going to be a good one. That's first week of the season too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's opening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too bad I don't have the Jets. That'd be a good one to go to.
Heck yeah, man. That's a huge dude. That's a huge field, man. That's a huge field. Oklahoma at 8. Dude, I've heard so many good things about this quarterback on offense. Offensive line finally has all 5 starters. I'm sorry. Offensive line has all 5 starters departing. They finally have all of their 4 front defensive linemen returning. So Venables is in his bag per se. This year he'll have his defense. He'll look a little bit better on defense. But here's the thing: they got the better quarterback coming in this year, but they lost 5 offensive linemen, 1 to the portal, and 1, Guyton went top 15 pick in the NFL. And they're coming into the SEC defense. The biggest thing is about the defense, I think, this year. They allowed 30 points a game last year. This is Venables, man. He's a defensive guru. It's kind of like the whole Pittman thing. It doesn't line up, right? Richman, where you got Oklahoma at? You got them here? You got them higher? You got them lower?
This could be the hot team. It's just, but I'm not buying their hype, man. Oklahoma, they have been so mouthy, more so than Texas. It's unbelievable. Even with the season they had last year. I don't know. I'm not up on Oklahoma. They're gonna have to show me. They're gonna have to pull a Missouri and show me.
Well, they're 7.5, right? Do you like them at 7.5, Fish? I mean, I see Temple, Houston, Tulane's 3 of them. Maine's 4 of them. I guess they're saying Auburn's the 5th one, and they're saying that they beat. I guess they're assuming they're beating Heupel. That's going to be a great game. Tennessee, Oklahoma, the return of Josh Heupel, who got fired. I don't know, man. I got him a little less than that, but
I got him.
Who knows?
I could see 6.
Yeah, I think it's closer to that. So I think I agree with you, Fish. I think earlier you mentioned you were like, it's kind of weird because the win totals are a little bit different. But I think when they're looking at power rankings, I think they're kind of also looking at win totals, but they're also going, if Oklahoma and Texas A&M played, they're thinking Oklahoma wins that game on a neutral field. Do you guys agree?
Yeah,
I think they would. I think they would. Just defense alone, I think they would. I think Elko and the boys lost too much on that one. 7 LSU. You like LSU right here, Fish?
9.5 is a lot of wins considering that defense was tragic last year.
That's the story, man. That's the story, right? Did they get the defense right this year?
They have to complete rebuild the staff, players. Who do they have? I mean, maybe their schedule lines up a little bit for them. You know, I'm not sure. 9.5 is a lot. That's very generous, I think.
I do too. I agree.
They like the defense. So here's a name for you. I don't know. Blake Baker. Already putting a stamp on his name with the defense. Apparently, Harold Perkins, which is a name we'll hear a lot from LSU. They moved him back to inside linebacker. He can kind of see a little bit more, call a little bit more of the plays. He can kind of be a CJ Allen type guy in the middle for them. They put the talent back in the heart of everything. They seem to like the defense better. They got my thing is I agree with the defense thing, but can they replace the offense?
That's the
Jaden Daniels gone. Is Newsomar the replacement? They had Malik Neighbors gone. There's another kid that was, I forget his last name, gone. They lost their running back and they lost the backup running back to the portal. I might need to go YouTube the spring game to see exactly what they fielded out there. But I do remember one standout for me. I thought Newsomar, when he entered in the game against Georgia, mop-up duty, SEC championship. I like Newsomar's arm.
Yeah, me too.
I like his arm.
He can sling it.
Yeah. I think, so let's look at it. Let's see if we got 9.5 right here. Let's fact check it. By the way, they open up against Southern Cal in Vegas.
That's gonna be fun.
That's a fun game, man. So Nicholls State's 1, I think. South Carolina's 2. UCLA's 3. I think UCLA's a win. I mean, if their head coach goes to be an OC somewhere, I think that's a win. South Alabama's 4. Arkansas's 5. Texas A&M is 6. Florida's 7. Vandy's 8. And I guess they're saying Oklahoma's 9. And Southern Cal maybe is 9, the 9.5. I mean, neutral site. It's not going to be. It will be neutral site. What do you have LSU and USC? USC did really good in the portal this year, by the way. What do you like? Who's that pick? Who are you picking for that game, LSU wise?
Oh, LSU. I got LSU over USC easy.
I'm gonna tell you, man. When does USC stop paying this guy this money? Like, he came out there to win. He ran from Oklahoma. I mean,
ran from the SEC.
I don't know, man. If that's true, we got a lot more SEC coaching carousel crap that's going to go on pretty soon. And I know he's not in the SEC, but he ran from the SEC and he's done nothing out at USC.
He will never coach in the SEC. I guarantee it.
I have no idea. Juju, man, I have no idea. The money must be right out in USC, man, for Juju to even be thinking about wanting to go out there.
Dude, they got Santa Monica Boulevard.
Just the Bieber money?
All this NIL money, they can be sipping beer at 10 o'clock in the morning riding in their Lamborghini.
Yeah.
That's wild, man. And I like Juju, man. I like this other kid that we signed. He's a little more of a kind of Jake Fromm, I want to be there type of guy. So I like that about Kirby. I trust Kirby in that, but this Juju kid, man, Juju Lewis, man, he looks incredible on tape, man. And it's not all said and done. Like, Juju's not committed yet, but I got a feeling that you won't see Georgia hanging around kind of like the Dylan Raiola play card as much as they did with him, you know, as they did with Dylan Raiola, as they will with Juju. I think that's why they went ahead and sealed the deal with the quarterback they got. But we're all thinking LSU's in the right spot, though. I mean, because I'm fixing to call this name, and this is my first disagreement right here. ESPN has Tennessee at 6, and I think LSU and Tennessee on neutral field. I like Tennessee in Knoxville, but I don't like Tennessee.
Defense is worse.
Right. So
I mean, Tennessee has problems in the secondary. We don't know what's happening. We don't know what these guys are going to look like. We have no idea. Complete rebuild.
Yeah, you got to show me that. You got to show me that rebuild first before I can buy into Tennessee being better than last year.
Exactly. Yeah, that hinges a lot on those 9 wins, man. That's a lot. That's a lot to do with that.
Well, dear Lord, man, what's Tennessee got? Chattanooga, NC State, Kent State. So they got 3 warm-up games before they go to Norman. Then they got a bye. They got Arkansas, Florida, Alabama in Knoxville. Then a bye. Kentucky in Knoxville, Mississippi State in Knoxville, Georgia, UTEP, Vanderbilt. I mean, guys, I don't see them losing but 2 games. There's only 2 games on the schedule they should lose.
It's a pretty easy schedule.
10 wins gets Tennessee into the playoff, right?
I don't know.
I got quiet. I'll leave Rocky Top at 10 wins right now, but it's. I think Rocky Top's got 9.5 wins. I think they're right about that, but I don't think they're better than LSU. But they don't play LSU, so I mean, you got to look at
why
Tennessee.
the SEC might have 5 teams in the playoff this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Georgia, and they also get Georgia November 16th. So I mean, Nico has plenty of games under his belt by then.
I'd rather see Tennessee go down the tubes and have to deal with Oklahoma making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you, man, any Texas or Oklahoma, man, they're gonna be jacked up. And I got a feeling that at the end of the day, we're gonna either see a fine line in the SEC and the Big 12, or we're gonna see the fact that there wasn't that much of a difference. And I mean, we're notorious for going out there and getting. I mean, we all thought Missouri was not a really great pickup to bring into the SEC at first. I mean, Missouri always played Georgia tough, regardless of if they had talent or not. For some reason, we always played them. I'll never forget the time I watched Jacob Eason throw that ball to Isaiah McKenzie to win the game. And the guy from West Virginia literally broke his TV, man. Like, he threw his TV, bro, down the mountain. There was a video of it. And it's like, why are we having to do this against Missouri? And it was because Missouri's defense always played us hard. They only won like 6 and 7 games those years, but they always played Georgia hard. But I did think when we went out and got Missouri, and who's the other team we got that entered in at that time? Who was the other team entered in the SEC when Missouri entered in?
A&M.
A&M, yeah.
When did Arkansas come in? They hadn't been in.
Well, they came in with South Carolina, I think,
South Carolina,
back in the early 90s.
Yeah.
South Carolina. All right, Missouri, man, 5th. I like Missouri, guys. I like Missouri. I think Missouri is in the wrong spot.
Way too low.
I think Missouri is the 3rd best team in the SEC this year. And I'll tell you why. It's because of schedule. Missouri got what we call the Texas pancake schedule. Murray State, Buffalo, Boston College, Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, UMass, Auburn, Alabama, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Mississippi State, Arkansas. What? Like, okay, so you got Alabama, and you got Oklahoma. Oklahoma's in Columbia, by the way. I know it's supposed to be neutral site. Oklahoma's in Columbia, and Alabama's in Tuscaloosa. So 10-win Missouri team, playoff team. So they got them at 9.5. I got them in the wrong spot. Richman, what do you think about Missouri?
Dude, I like Missouri. I mean, I think 9.5 is good. I mean, they could do 10. It's going to be it's a great year for them, because if they can back up what they did last year and say, hey, we're for real, we're not a fluke, it's going to be something.
I agree with that. I agree wholeheartedly with that. What about you, Fish? You like Missouri?
They're my 4th best team in the SEC. I think you slide them up to 4, you slide Ole Miss up to 3, and you slide Bama down to 5. I think Bama should be in the 5 spot.
Interesting. Nah, dude, you're trying to get us canceled, right? Tuscaloosa will cancel us right now, bro. Like,
I'm just saying, man.
Right now.
A lot of things changed, man, and the quarterback's not going to have as easy a time. He's going to be way more exposed this year. I mean, he can throw a deep ball, but that's about it.
Luther Burden, man. Weiss is going to be. He came on really strong. I think Weiss from Missouri he gained a lot last year with, people taking away Luther Burden. But I think the offense is going to be incredible. I think Carroll from Georgia State is going to be great. I think they added Nate Noel from App State. Defense is a new defense. New coordinator there.
Good defense.
Return 5 starters. I think defense they're always going to be good. Drink's going to always have them ready to go on defense. It's just what he's about.
He's going to have a good D every year.
I think Missouri is the 3rd best team in the SEC. 4th, they have Ole Miss. What can you say about Ole Miss, man? I mean, the only thing I could say is they got them at 9.5. And does the schedule line up for them? Like, do they have that schedule that can produce those 9.5 wins? Furman, Middle Tennessee, Wake Forest, Georgia Southern, Kentucky, South Carolina out of the box. Once again, Lane, I don't want to hear it, bro. You just literally got a 6-game bye. Like, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4 out of those 6 in Oxford. Then they get LSU on the road, a bye, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Georgia, Florida, Mississippi State. I think it lends itself. If this is going to be the year, I really hope. I think that everything's going to stem off of, and I'll let you guys chime in. I think it's going to stem off of, does this Ole Miss defense turn the corner under 2nd-year coordinator from Alabama? What's my guy's name? Remind me. Who was it? He was at Alabama last year.
God,
I can't remember his name.
I guess he's a nobody.
Off the top of my head.
Yeah, but
no, he's somebody.
It's going to stem off of him. It's going to be, does that secondary recover? Does Walter Nolan make a big Pete Golding? Thank you.
That's right.
Does Pete Golding turn the corner on defense? Does the secondary get better?
Dude, that's why I'm worried, because they got that Nolan kid out of A&M, and they got that edge rusher. And did they get a cornerback too?
Dude, they got so many players in the portal, bro.
They got a lot.
I mean, their defense is coming.
Their defense got the most out of the portal. They buffered the defense. The portal
came from,
yeah. That's where they got better. They got tremendously better. If anything,
I would say
they lost.
Dart's coming back.
Dart, but that's it. I think they gained the most on defense, but they lost some key things on offense, but they replaced them. You got Carroll, but when you look at that backfield, Quinshon Junkins leaves, Barry Franklin, but they added so much to the offense. I mean, we could do a whole show alone on what Kiffin did with this portal. I mean, he basically has a brand new revamped team, and so I think we will do that. Matter of fact, future show might be like who got the most out of the portal, and dear Lord, we would spend 30 minutes on Kiffin, but for time's sake, let's move on.
Half an hour on Ohio State, half an hour on Ole Miss.
Exactly. Alabama 9.5 wins. All right, so here's the thing. Kalen DeBoer, first year, how's he going to mesh with Milroe? Obviously, this is not his guy calling the plays anymore. This is I got a feeling they have an offensive coordinator in there that's holding the spot down. I think this will be Kalen DeBoer calling the plays this year. You just don't know that. But how well will Milroe? What's that?
So just in case he flops.
Yeah, I agree.
Somebody to blame.
Yeah, secondary will be a major point of emphasis for Kane Womack. We don't know much about Kane Womack. He made a flash at South Alabama. Don't know what that means.
They lost so much talent on the defense.
They did, man. They did. Fish, what do you think about Alabama? I know you got Alabama at 5th, man. What do you think? Do you think 9.5 is too high? And who are their losses if they are?
No, I mean they have a really hard schedule too. So do we. I think 9.5 is fair. I think this whole thing is going to come down to head to head. Because we're gonna beat up on each other. All the teams, these top teams in the SEC, Texas, Georgia, Alabama. I mean, we all play each other. Ole Miss. We all play each other. So I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we can still come out with 9 or 10 wins, but where we land at the end of the season is going to depend on head to head.
Yeah.
I agree.
What about you, Rich, man? What do you like or dislike about Bama?
Well, Bama's got a lot of talent there, but they lost so much on defense. And, like DeBoer's, he's an unknown. I mean, I know we saw him in the championship last year, but taking over Alabama, it's the craziest thing I don't know how you analyze that. I
It's going to
think
be interesting.
I'm going to wait and see for Alabama. I think they'll win 9 games. Yeah, I don't think that's out unreasonable, but
I don't either.
who knows, man? I mean,
The biggest thing is I'll give you this. This might be the better question. What's the third loss? If there's a third loss, it has to be between these 3 teams. I think Georgia's a loss, and I think Missouri's a loss. The thing about this is, guys, is if Georgia and Missouri is a loss, they would have lost more games in Bryant-Denny Stadium this year than they have lost in the last 10 years at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Those are 2 teams that have to come into Bryant-Denny and beat them, yet they're the 2 teams that everybody is saying that are their guaranteed 2 losses. But here's your third loss. Is it Oklahoma in Norman, LSU in Baton Rouge, or Wisconsin in Madison? What's the third loss?
Yeah, Wisconsin game's gonna be tricky.
Wisconsin's tricky.
Give me
Georgia
Wisconsin.
loss. What about Tennessee? I mean,
Tennessee and Knoxville. You think Morgan Wallen's got another song to write out of that one? I mean, he's got another hit coming if they do. I think I think what you got to be tricky and look for is Wisconsin, because you're going to see Kalen DeBoer go on the road for the first time with his team. But they're not going into the SEC, man. They're going up into to cheese country, man.
They're going into Wisconsin, man. Luke Fickell's going to have them boys ready.
And I think Auburn's going to beat them.
I think
Auburn's laying for them. And I bet
I'm with you, man. I'm telling you, man.
Welcome to the Iron Bowl, Jordan Hare night game. Oh my God, that game. Oof, that's a tough place to play, man.
It's in Tuscaloosa, but I will
tell
you,
it is in Tuscaloosa. Oh, my bad.
But here's the thing, man. I agree with you guys. I don't have Alabama this high. They got them at third. I got them at fourth. I think they're a little bit better than Ole Miss in my opinion, because you got it. Alabama's defense has been better than Ole Miss. You're not going to tell me Alabama's defense is not better than Ole Miss right now, because I got to see it. So that's
who's Jalen Milroe throwing the ball to? Nobody.
But here's the thing: nobody knew half of Alabama's receivers last year either. Anybody know who's the kid going to Texas this year?
Isaiah Bond.
Anybody know Isaiah Bond last year?
No.
So I mean, there's 5 stars running around all the way over there. My biggest thing is there's 3 things. There's no Saban. That's the number one thing. There's no Saban.
That's the psychological thing that the players are. You just think about it. You're a player. You got recruited and signed with Saban, and he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
What does that do to the team psychologically? I know they're trying to mind warp these guys and get them ready to do something different with a new guy, but I don't know.
I will tell you that, Fish, you probably are onto something. They're going to land somewhere between 3rd and 5th. And I will tell you that you're going to know very quickly if they're going to land 5th, because I think it could be a really, really long season for Kalen DeBoer if he loses to Wisconsin, and then he's got Georgia, and then he's got, I think, Richmond, you're right. Then you got Tennessee, Missouri later on down the line. And could this be the first year that Alabama sees? I mean, they missed the playoff. I don't know. That's a later show where we talk about like who are the teams that are in if they're in. But let's tie these two together. Tennessee's schedule is very.
Tennessee's schedule could be the reason they miss it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Tennessee could slide in. It could be a higher ranked team. I mean, oh my God, so much. This season's going to be awesome.
I agree. Let's loop these 2 in together for time. So Texas is at 2, Georgia's at 1. These are obviously the 2 teams that ESPN thinks is going to be good. The two locks to go into the SEC. I'm sorry, number 1 to play for the SEC championship, and number 2 to make the playoffs. I think Texas 9.5 for Texas might be low because of the pansy schedule that they have.
Yeah, they've got our Cinderella schedule from last year.
Yeah, I think the only one the coin flip is I think they're undecided on Michigan and Ann Arbor. We don't really know what Michigan is going to be about this year. No Harbaugh. I mean, it's kind of like Alabama. No Harbaugh.
That's kind of like
They've lost McCarthy.
Alabama going to Wisconsin.
Yeah,
It's kind of the same
exactly.
scenario.
Be the same thing. But let's just say they win that one. So Colorado State's a win. Michigan's a win. UTSA's a win. Monroe's a win. Mississippi State's a win. Holy crap. Oklahoma is that's your big one. The Red River rivalry. You got Georgia and Austin. Let's just say those are not wins. Vanderbilt is your 6 wins. Florida's your 7th. Arkansas is 8. Kentucky's 9. A&M is 10. I think that's low for Texas because of their schedule. I think Texas is a solid 10-win team. Easy. So I think I'm definitely would go over in Texas. And then, Georgia's sitting there 10.5. I guess what's better to say is what does ESPN think the loss is? Do they think it's Texas? Do they think it's Alabama? There's a lot of scenarios, guys, where somebody can catch us slipping this year. You got Clemson in Atlanta right out the bat. You got
Ole Miss.
You got Ole Miss in Oxford. You got Alabama in Tuscaloosa. You got Tennessee in Athens. So those are your. So which one of those is ESPN saying is the loss? What do you guys think?
I think they think that we're going to lose to them.
To Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Where else are we going to lose? I mean, obviously, we could lose to Bama, we could lose to Clemson, or we could lose to Ole Miss, but I don't think we're going to lose. I don't think we lose more than 2 games, and I really don't think we're going to lose 2.
Yeah, so you think 10-2 is our worst possibility this year?
Yeah, 10-2 would be the worst.
Yeah. What about you, Fish?
I think we go 10-2. We still make the playoff.
100%.
Win the SEC. We could lose to Texas. In Austin, then go to Atlanta, which is basically a home field advantage for us, and beat them then.
Yep.
Come out on top of them. That Texas game is scary. Ole Miss and Clemson are the next 2 that really, really make me nervous.
Scariest game on the schedule for me is Ole Miss. Kiffin.
Me too.
But you know what though? The thing about Kiffin is this could possibly, psyche for Kiffin is weird, dude, because his psyche built around Saban got really, really bad. It got to be the reason why he couldn't beat Saban. It was in his head. He
manifested that.
He did.
He did. I swear he did.
But he's starting to get that way with Kirby, guys. I mean, he's good friends with Kirby. He was good friends with Saban. I think some reputation was ruined when he was his OC there a little bit. But I think they still ended up on good terms. But the psyche is the biggest thing. So he's going to remember how the offense got absolutely held in Athens, and he's going to remember how Pete Golding's defense got torched by Carson Beck. So that's the only thing that gives me that little bit of glimmer of, okay, this could still be in Oxford. I mean, you give me Georgia right now on a neutral field like ESPN's looking at it, but if you give me Georgia, Texas, but also when you look at it, guys, like I'm not saying Georgia has 2 losses on neutral field to any of these teams. I think when you put Georgia and Tennessee to neutral field, Texas, I think Georgia's better than Texas on a neutral field. I think Georgia's better than Alabama on a neutral field, and I think Georgia's better than Ole Miss and Clemson is on a neutral field. So, if I'm looking on a neutral field, I'm giving us 12 wins. I think we're a 12-win team on a neutral field. But I will think that there'll be something to talk about. It's also in Kirby's psyche, regardless of if Keelan DeBoer or Nick Saban's across the other sideline, to go, I got to win it right now.
Things. And to say it doesn't would just be naive, because it changes everything.
Yeah. Let me ask this.
For fans too. You know what I mean? Like Alabama, who's Alabama now? Georgia is the new king of the SEC. We're the team. Kirby's the coach that people fear and look at like, oh my God, this is it. Here they come. Like we got it. We're going to get everybody's best shot.
Let me ask you this: in the spring game, Carson missed, was it 2 long balls and hit 1? Was that what it was?
He hit, his 2 best throws were in that last drive. He missed that 1 long ball to
he missed more than 1 long one, but so my question is, if he struggles with a long ball this season and that compresses they can compress our defense or compress our offense, does that hurt us in the long run? Or are we still going to be able to muscle through? I mean, I worry if we don't have the long threat, that's going to hurt us, because that long threat obviously opens up your middle zone, but it also really opens up your run big time.
Yeah. Fish, you want to chime in that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I mean, that's going to compact our offense, and safeties aren't going to have to sit back as deep. They're going to be a lot closer to the line of scrimmage. I mean, because what's to be afraid of? You're right. I mean, that's a good point. That's a very good point.
I really think for us to run the table and win another championship, the other team's safeties are going to have to fear Carson Beck long ball. That's what I think. But
I think it's hard to get a look at that in the spring game, because I still think, regardless of if we're young or not in the secondary, we're still top 3-4 talented secondaries
right
in the SEC. Even if you were to put 2 rookies back there, they're still going to be more talented than what some of these teams have coming back.
Right.
I will tell you this. I don't think that it will be as much of a difficulty as it was last year, because I do know Milton was healthy towards the end of the year, as well as Dejan, but a lot more fresher legs back there and a lot more different talent levels.
Yeah.
I will tell you that if you think Kendall Milton was fun to watch at the end of the year running people over, you wait till you see Rod Robinson running people over at the beginning of the year. And then I'm just telling you, man, I'm going to run through my computer screen when I see Branson Robinson take that field and actually run a play, because I'm dying to see what he looks like right now. I might go live if I hear word that that homeboy's like he's back day one. I loved Branson, dude. Everything I saw Branson, I think it was because so much about the fact that I love Nick Chubb when he was here. He reminds me a lot of Nick Chubb. He's got a great character. He's got great heart. That's Nick Chubb written all over it. But also, you look at everything we added in ETN. ETN, guys, he didn't see our running back room this year could be. I know that's another show, but you look at Gurley and you look at Gurley and Chubb. You look at Sony and Sony and Chubb. You look at last year with Dejan and Kendall. You look at all these combos we've had, right? Dude, this is a 3-headed monster if it all comes together. You got a bruiser, and you have a ETN who can make a play out of nothing, and then you have a Branson who can do both. That's where I look and answer your question, Rich Man, is to go, I got to see this running back room against teams that don't know what the plays are. And also, you had a very vanilla offense with Carson. We weren't showing a lot of our hand. A lot of those were 4 or 5 plays that were, we didn't show a lot of our hand with Bobo in the spring game, because you got to think about it, man. We're not playing, we're not Texas. We're not playing Louisiana Monroe game 1. We're not going to show Dabo too much. We play a good football team out of the gates week 1.
If Dylan Bell racks
didn't even
up
mention him, but yeah, I agree.
long TD passes in the early part of the season, that's going to open it up like crazy, especially with those running backs we got.
Yeah,
and Beck's going to own the mid zone, and he always has. I mean, he's probably the best. He's the most accurate passer I've seen at Georgia in that mid zone. He just owns it.
He threw some balls last year that just baffled me.
Yeah.
Like, how did he do that?
He threw some tight passes in G-Day. I mean, I mean, guys, and it's not just speed sometimes that kills you. We talked about it before we came on, Rich Man. It's all about route running.
Yep.
The name to look for that it could really hurt people deep, and it not necessarily meaning because it's going to take the top off, right? Remember, it's just as much, it hurts you just as much when you can catch people off guard. So if we're pounding it with Rod and we're pounding it with the 3 running backs, and next thing you slip Colby Young out on play action, he's got a height advantage.
Oh,
and, he's got that AJ Green type, he doesn't have to worry about, Carson doesn't have to worry about beating him over the top. Just get it to him in the area code where he's got to step on somebody, And Colby Young, I think, is going to be a guy this year that could change the game, kind of like an AJ Green did. So I think you have some. I think you're right with this, Richmond. But I think what you may be missing is the fact that this year could be a little different because we don't have to beat people over the top. I think we got some receivers that can go get it. Dylan Bell, great hands, great length. Colby Young, great hands, great length. Maybe that's what Kirby was thinking when we went out and really looked at. It'll just be nice to see Dylan Bell in his home position and not having to, be all over the place. Dom's going to be an incredible go-to guy in the slot this year for us. So I'm super excited, man. I think it's exciting to say there's 12 wins on the table if it was neutral field.
Can we skip summer?
Dude, I'm ready right now, man. I'm ready right now, bro.
Dude, every day is a dog day.
It is, man.
Well,
listen, guys, this was fun, man. This was real fun. If you haven't already done so, make sure you go follow Dogs Down South on YouTube, on Facebook. TikTok page will be a lot more content as we get into the season with updates, injuries, any breaking news type things that get out quicker. And then it's 24 hours from now, we will be live on Apple Podcasts. So if you're riding into work or coming home from work and you want to catch it on Apple Podcast, we slide it over there 24 hours after this. So make sure you go like and follow on all those pages. Rich, man, thank you for joining us tonight, man. Look forward to having you back here and there in the future, man. And as we get into the season, man, and we get some pick'ems going, be very interested to hear your thoughts on what's going on.
Yes, sir.
This is probably going to be the most exciting SEC season I can remember. So I'm pumped up.
It's going to be incredible, man. It is going to be incredible. Well, we're going to sign off for tonight, but Fish, always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Loved hadn't seen you in a couple of weeks. We got the old crew back. We missed Bobby tonight, but it was good, man. But
glad to be back.
Looking forward to maybe next week, the week after, we're going to look at a couple down parts of the year. We may look at what kind of game times we're looking at for some games in the SEC. Who are the real contenders outside of the SEC is what a lot of listeners want to know. So if we look at that 12-team playoff, if we have 2 or 3 SEC teams, like who's the real quality competition that's going to be vying for those other spots? We'll talk about that in the future. We'll look at a summer setup coming up soon, and that'll drive us straight into the season. But for myself, for Adam, Fisher, for Rich, man, thanks you guys for joining, and have a great night, and go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.